It's your boy Online Davo, and we back with another video. Look, we got a video about XO Speaks. Nobody wants to admit this about integration. Alright, man, let's get into this video. Let's see if my boy done cooked up now. Come on.
I know this might sound crazy to some people, but it's a real conversation that needs to be had. The integration actually helped us in the way we thought it would.
Unpopular opinion, but I think that integration was one of the worst things that could have ever happened to the Black community. I think separate but equal would have done just fine, but being integrated with people that hate us was never a good look for our community.
If you are a Black American and you are breathing in the United States today, you are the luckiest among the luckiest of Black people that have ever lived.
And before anything gets twisted, this is not disrespect towards MLK or the civil rights movement. What they did took real courage. People were getting beaten, jailed, killed just for demanding basic human rights. That history is real and it matters. But just because something was necessary in that moment doesn't mean we can't.
No, like really think about that too though. People are actually getting killed, getting hosed down, bit by dogs, all type of stuff because they want to get treated equally. So whenever someone trying to come to you sideways about some civil rights shit, bro, just think about that. Think about the reason why the civil rights movement was even going on. And then figure out, okay, so you're telling me the civil rights did bad for people. Like the civil rights wasn't it didn't mean nothing. Don't never let them, man, come on, man. You already know who spearheaded the movement. Don't let them disrespect what we got going on. Facts.
Can't look back at it and ask what it cost us too. Because every major decision comes with consequences. And integration, for all the doors it opened, also closed a lot that we don't talk about enough. At the core, integration wasn't random. Black people were locked out of quality schools, decent housing, good jobs, and basic public services. Segregation wasn't separate, but equal. It was separate and unequal on purpose. So the goal made sense. We wanted access, better education, better opportunities, a fair shot at life in a country that we helped build. And for a lot of people, integration did exactly that.
You know how we were separated and there was some still sneaky stuff going on, right? But as you know, things evolved, got better. We started to mingle together. And that made a lot of us white and Black folk happy.
That mentality is what truly being suppressed is. When you feel like you have to be around all Black people. When you feel like you have to go to all Black schools, or you feel like you have to work all Black jobs, or you feel like you have to live in all Black neighborhoods, or if the president isn't Black, then, oh, woe is me.
The very thing that people fought for, marched for, and died for, to get rid of segregation, you choose to do it voluntarily.
Being in better funded schools, living in resource neighborhoods, getting access to networks we were denied, that changed outcomes for many families. Studies even showed that during certain periods, especially around the 70s and 80s, integration helped close some of the education gap. It gave people a real chance to move differently in life. So I'm not gonna act like there weren't any benefits, but that's only one.
I mean, yeah, of course. Of course, things are gonna, your baseline of education is gonna go up when you're able to receive better education, And I'm not saying better education in a sense just because they were white, they were just better teachers or something like that, but it's about the resources the schools have. We already know currently that the public schools are funded by the tax dollars paid off for the property, you feel me, within that neighborhood, But with that, if you live in a low income neighborhood, you're gonna have a lower income schooling. That's what comes with it, right? So it's like once that first integration starts and you start seeing how equal education and quality education can make a difference in a child's life, that's when those people that want to keep keep us down, they start thinking of ways to where it seems like there's equal education, but they're still ciphering all the resources from one community and giving it to the next. You get what I'm saying? So even though there was results that, Black people aren't just inherently dumb. If you are able to educate someone, they're able to produce in society. But they don't want you to do that, though. It is what it is. Come on.
side of the story. While we were moving into their spaces, something else was happening at the same time. Our own spaces started disappearing. Black-owned businesses that once thrived in segregated communities started losing customers. Black schools that had strong cultural identity and teachers who understood their students got shut down or absorbed. We didn't just integrate into their system, we abandoned ours.
I like working for black folk, and I don't like shopping at their businesses, right?
When you highlight black owned, I'm definitely not going to support.
Fuck black businesses. Anytime I see a place that says,
this nigga Manny. Dude, bro said fuck black businesses. God damn. Bro, what? My thing is, when it comes to, if I know it's a black owned business, I'm gonna swing by, see how it's looking. I'm gonna see what I could do. You know what I'm saying? If it's something I want to get, I'm gonna get it from y'all because you're selling a product that I want. Now, obviously, I'm not gonna say just buy it from them because they're black. But if it's a product that you like, and you're able to keep the money flowing within the community, and it's a reasonable price, why not buy it from a black-owned person? Like, what?
black-owned business, I know it's gonna be a fucking failure.
And that shift hit way deeper than money. It affected community. It affected identity. It affected how we saw ourselves when we were no longer surrounded by people who looked like us in positions of authority. There used to be entire black ecosystems, doctors, teachers, shop owners, all circulating wealth and knowledge within the community. Integration cracked that system open, but it didn't replace it with something that fully protected us either. So now you gotta ask. Access came, but at what cost?
Sometimes I have conversations with the elders who experienced the black community of the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s up to now. And they tell me about a time when today's most impoverished hoods, Inglewood, Chicago, South Central LA, Harlem, were thriving, bustling black communities full of black-owned businesses and multiple socioeconomic classes living amongst one another. When integration happened, all of the wealth divested into white communities, leaving nothing but poverty in the black neighborhood. And the wealthy class has been in a never-ending race to assimilation ever since.
If we had our own towns, own banks, own schools, own police officers, own everything, why the fuck? And we were thriving at that. It wasn't necessary.
Another part people don't talk about enough is who.
Well, I mean, that's the thing also. Like we had our own like everything, right? But it didn't necessarily stop them from coming over to our shit and fucking up what we got going on. You know what I'm saying? And then also you gotta think of the times like this. They would terrorize our neighborhoods and they would get in no type of consequences. You feel me? So it's one of those things of like, shit, do we stay separate and like, fuck it, just get our neighborhoods terrorized and keep on rebuilding? Or do we try to find a way to make the system equal for all of us, and then we try to come together, in which we see how that has resulted? But there's probably some stuff in there I'm missing, obviously, but at least to me, it's one of those things that like, we had our own shit, but they never was leaving us alone. You know what I'm saying? Because they know if they left us alone, we're better thrive without them. And if you thrive without them, who are they gonna exploit? They already exploiting the poor white people, but they gotta give the poor white people somebody to look down on, so they gotta make sure that they're exploiting the black people too. That's how I see it though, but who am I?
Who actually carried the weight of integration. It wasn't equal. A lot of the burden fell on black children. Kids walking into hostile schools, dealing with racism from students, teachers, entire communities that didn't want them there. Imagine being a child and having to integrate into a space where people are yelling at you, threatening you, sometimes even attacking you, all while being expected to learn and be strong. That's not a small thing. That's psychological weight at a very young age.
Right. They don't have enough gumption to turn around and tell that Supreme Court to rule on the laws of the land rather than to mess with our children and ruin our education and put our country down.
You kidding, man.
Now, there were appointed officials, and we'll impeach every one of them if we have to get this country back where it belongs.
Man, really? By the time somebody do something, now, all of a sudden, the tide is turning a little bit. You see how things feel now. You all come upset, huh? You're all upset. Say somebody taking your rights away.
Meanwhile, the system itself didn't change overnight. It was still built on the same mindset. So instead of the environment adjusting to us, we were expected to adjust to the environment. And that pattern still shows up today in different forms. Some black thinkers, both back then and now, have questioned whether the focus should have been different. Instead of pushing so hard to integrate, what if more energy went into strengthening black schools, black businesses, and black communities? Even Dr. King, towards the end of his life, said, and I quote, "I fear I have integrated my people into a burning house. Because we already had structure. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours. There's an argument that says we traded independence for access. That we moved away from building something self-sustaining and put ourselves in a position where we rely on systems that never fully prioritized us.
Now, you always talk about black ownership and black business.
That's right.
Why do so many of our institutions struggle while others flourish with less resistance?
Because black people love white people more than they love themselves. Black people want to be accepted by white people more than each other. The black American dream is to be amalgamated with the Caucasian community. We don't want an all-black hospital. We don't want all-black communities.
Says who? Now, I would say this, though. I would say I agree that there is some people out there who strive for the respect of the white folk. You know what I'm saying? Of the white species. I'm just saying shit. But I never understood it, though. I really never understood it. I mean, I guess when you think of, you know, who holds the power and who's, quote unquote, making the decisions, it is one of those things that, like, shit, if you want to get closer to the top, you're going to have to rub shoulders with the people that's usually at the top. You get what I'm saying? But I guess from a personal standpoint or from a self-respect standpoint, I never understood the need to try to get validation from white people, you know, from any other race, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? But it's a different type of, those are different type of people within the community that have that type of mindset, you know? And I think there is some anti-black sentiments within people in the black community also. So I could see why some people will be wary of an all-black hospital. You know what I'm saying? They're like, nigga, I ain't going there. It's all black people? Hell no, I ain't going there. You know what I'm saying? And they'll see an issue with that, but they won't see an issue with an all-white hospital. You get what I'm saying? That's fishy too. You feel me? An all-white hospital, you ain't got one black doctor in there? I don't know. So it's tricky, bro. It's tricky. Let me stop yapping.
Want black supermarkets. We want to be accepted by white people. That is the dream. We raise our kids to go to school, get an education, move out your neighborhood into a white one. And if you buy a house around white people, you're considered a success in a...
Now that right there, I would say this. I used to think of it kind of in that way, but not in the way of me like, oh, I want to move where the white folks at. You know what I'm saying? It just happened to be white people are living in the areas that are, you know, sought after. You feel me? It's not, I don't think it's I want to go live by white people. Like, that's my dream. It's more so I want to live in this area, and this area happens to have more white people in it. You feel me? Because we know about redlining and all the things they did to stop, home ownership for black people. We know that already, right? And that stuff doesn't just disappear over 10 years, 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Usually, once a community has a common race that lives there, or like a group of people that's known for living there, I feel like it's most likely gonna stay there, but what do I know? The point I'm saying is that it has never been my dream to live by white people. It has been my dream to live in neighborhoods that are good quality neighborhoods, safe neighborhoods, wherever that may be. You feel me? There's black neighborhoods that's thriving. Fuck it, I'll go there. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, though. Come on.
Black community. That was true 100 years ago. That's true today. Who really wants to be part of a black community? I do, but there's not a lot of us who are. You can't build independently for black people when you don't have enough black people who wants to support it.
And that doesn't mean segregation was good. It wasn't. But it does raise the question, was integration the only path or just the path we chose at the time? What makes this conversation even crazier is that decades later, a lot of places are still separating again anyway. Schools are becoming more segregated. Neighborhoods are splitting along economic and racial lines. Resources are still uneven. So after all that effort, all that sacrifice, we're slowly watching a version of the same divide come back, just dressed differently. It's not the same laws, but the outcome can look real familiar. And that makes people question everything even more. Because if integration was supposed to fix the gap, why does the gap feel so similar?
Integration never happened. Inner city schools in Chicago, all black. Shit, the whole South and West Side, extremely segregated. Obviously, there are other factors in play.
Y'all do know that everything in schools are segregated. Y'all know that we're still redlined. Think about who's predominantly in urban communities. Think about where the tax-paying dollars are going as far as the communities in the school system is concerned.
Hey.
Things are already segregated. I don't think that y'all realize that because it's not overt. There's no signs that says colors only.
One thing that is important though, integration wasn't just about sitting next to white people in the classroom. It was about challenging a system built on white supremacy. It was designed to keep black people at the bottom politically, economically, and socially. Integration was one way to disrupt that structure. And in that sense, it mattered. It forced the country to confront its own hypocrisy. But let's be real, dismantling a system doesn't mean it disappears completely. White supremacy didn't end, it adapted. So even with integration, the deeper issues never left. They just became less obvious to some people.
White man, fight back! White man, fight back!
Black people are lucky to be Americans.
Really?
If it weren't for white people having slaves back in the day, there would be no black people in America.
You don't get to go create a bunch of fucking black only this, black only, black. People are fucking tired of that shit, by the way. And then turn around and cry fucking wolf when someone says, you know what, we're gonna do white only.
Today, a lot of black people still want access to diverse spaces, good schools, safe neighborhoods, and opportunities across the board. But at the same time, there's a growing appreciation for black spaces too. Places where you don't have to explain yourself, where you're understood without code switching every 5 seconds. That balance matters because integration should have been about choice, not replacement. So, was integration the right decision? There's no simple answer to that. Integration brought opportunity, a level of access, and progress in ways that can't be ignored. But it also came with losses, community institutions, and a certain level of independence that we're still trying to rebuild. So maybe the real question isn't whether integration was right or wrong. Maybe it's whether we fully understood what we were trading when we made that move. Because history isn't just about what happened, it's about what we learned from it. And if we're being honest,
shout out EXO Speaks for the video. You did your thing. Do I think integration was wrong? I would say no. I would say I don't think it was wrong. I think that was the choice that they thought was right. You know, they thought that was the right choice to make in that moment. You feel me? And like we said, there had been benefits to it. There had been benefits. But just like with anything, especially when it comes to America, especially when it comes to black people, there's gonna be some downsides to it also. You know, they're gonna make sure you ain't finna get this privilege without unscathed. You're gonna give us a pound of flesh. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna leave here with something. That's how white supremacy works. You know, you don't ever get to just progress without something getting bruised up, and you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of crazy how it seems like we progressed, but it's kind of one of those things of we're still the same old people in the same country that are doing the same shit, you know, because it's so much shit, bro. I'm gone. Peace.